Hey guys, HerbQuest here, coming in first with a couple of random clue loots that I obtained. Got a gnomish firelighter, pretty cool, unique, and some more bandos bracers, but pretty much all junk. And here's some live commentary of me in the museum. Hey guys, HerbQuest here, early in the morning, getting ready to check out the Fossil Island update very shortly. Only less than 5 minutes until the update hits. I'll see you guys in the next clip when we're on the island, and I'll include a little speed run of the quest, though I won't commentate over it. I'll leave the quest guides to others and perhaps even link a guide to the quest down in the description, because this isn't a guide, just a progress video, more or less. Hope you guys enjoy Fossil Island as much as I do. So with the quest, I started recording a little bit late. We started by talking to the museum curator, and then he gives you a little thing to go up to the sawmill at Koren. I remember the main part about this quest that was a bit of a pain was the whole vodka thing, because everybody ran out, every shop ran out of vodka, and there's only 3 shops and 10 per world, and that was a little bit annoying because they only respawn like once an hour, and to hotfix it, one of the J mods was manually selling vodka to all the shops, but unfortunately, since the shop was overstocked, as an Iron Man, I was unable to buy them because the shop was overstocked. So it was like a stuck point, kind of. I was a little disappointed because it was like a race to wyverns in a way, and that put me behind in the race, sort of. Not being able to get my vodka right away. But that ended up being alright though, because I still got the quest done, and the drops from wyverns initially weren't that great. But I'm going to delete some of the clip here and skip straight ahead to where I arrived, and I'll leave a guide to the rest of the quest down in the description. So as I arrived on Fossil Island for the first time, I didn't bring my supplies to build anything because I didn't know what to expect when I first got there, in case there was something to fight right away. I didn't want to be unprepared. Not that I'm like a hardcore or anything, but I just wanted to be prepared. But nothing's there when you first land, just a bunch of empty slots where you have the option to build some things. And also, just a heads up for some of the items that require like a rope to build, you can buy a rope right from the general store, a rope and a bucket to build the well there, which I thought was pretty handy. It was a little kind of like cheating in a way, just to have the general store that's here sell the stuff for here, but at the same time, it makes it really handy. Another interesting fact is I noticed people talking about how this is the first toilet in the game, the outhouse there by the general store. It's actually not. It's the second one. There's one on Zaya over by Tithe Farm with a guy inside it who has very similar dialogue. I'm not sure if that's the guy who you contact on the Lunar Spell book or not, but this is the second one, not the first one, guys. Keep up. And I'm just digging around here. I found a single piece of the currency and I got all excited. And I was like, ooh, there's stuff here. But all I found from digging around this area was a couple more pieces of that weird bone currency. and I'll cut some out and skip it ahead. See you guys with an interesting clip. So after I finished exploring the main camp and building everything there, I decided to wander around, and I found the Slayer only Wyvern Cave, but no way of actually accessing it. I think you need to be on task to even get down there at all. And I found this mushroom tree. And I just sort of wandered around the forest and found this little boat here. And there's a handy bank right here, so I didn't want to risk anything. I'm not sure how the mechanics work, so I deposited everything and decided to explore this little underwater area here. I thought this place looked really cool. I do have a brine saber to use as a weapon down here, one of the few weapons you can wield underwater. And these little air bubbles here give you oxygen. That's the mermaid shop. I didn't really grind this minigame too much as I was just exploring it, and you move really slow without having the flippers from the morgues that are dropped from the whole Skippy mini quest. Which I did because I have quest cape and needed that for Rag and Bone Man Part 2. I don't think I grinded those till I got flippers though. I just have the brine saber is all. But the little mini game here is you chase down the arrow just like the Brimhaven agility course. And instead of just tagging it once, what you'll want to do is just spam click it. And I also found that it's impossible to pass through the water currents without flippers, which was a tad bit confusing at first, but without flippers you can find your way around. Almost ran out of oxygen there, so I got myself in the bubble. And I don't know if they patched the arrow yet. It's been a few days, but probably. But if you notice, the arrow changes really rapidly. It doesn't always point in the right direction, or at least it didn't on the first day. And I found that the mermaid's place has a second entrance for easier access. Then it changed legit that time, and I was right next to it. And the XP drops from this for agility and thieving are really nice. I was trying to get in that house there so I wouldn't run out of oxygen. Made it with 17%. But yeah, the whole underwater area is really cool. I like the atmosphere of it. I think they could expand on it a lot more though, because there's not very many NPCs down here to fight. There's the lobstrosities, and I didn't even find those. I just saw that on the wiki earlier. But I think they could add like a whole underwater kingdom to this place. Like the whole time I was down here, the Death Clock song Mermaider kept coming into my mind, because you could have like an underwater kingdom and name it and everything and have really far out stuff down here. And then I ran out of oxygen and lost my mermaid tier. So then I decided to check out some of the options on that, and for the transport couldn't really go anywhere, so I figured I'd check out something new and wander around some more, just some general exploration, trying to navigate the pathing. And I found some ash piles that you can mine up here, so I figured I'd get a head start on grinding some of those, and I kept on getting some volcanic ash, which I recently heard is one of the ingredients for the new Ultra compost. I also got some soda ash from it. I saved the one for a little bit because I thought I'd bank it, but it's seaweed that I have a lot of, not soda ash. And I already combined all the soda ash from when I did charter ships, so I ended up just dropping that one there. And I noticed he's got the calcite and pyrophosphate too. I wonder if you can sell it back to him for anything. But here I'm just gearing up for wyverns because I figured that they would be weak to range. And I got my Dragon Bolts E because I want to be prepared. I don't want to have to leave with one partially killed and not be able to finish off the kill, because that's never fun. And I couldn't figure out how to access this mine, but you need a lot of new kudos to do it. You get the new kudos by building fossils at the Varrock Museum. You can put, after you clean the fossils, you can put the fossils in one of the cases on there and build interesting things. And over here I found the farm patch with the squirrels. That was pretty cute. You can give them acorns as well and they'll say some funny stuff I found on Reddit. I won't give any spoilers for that, but if you have some acorns, go ahead and use them on the squirrels over there to get some interesting dialogue. And I was wandering around the border and I decided to try the hunter a little bit. I couldn't get a trail at first, but from the herbivore I only did 2 runs of it, and I ended up getting some ranars and a torstal. Pretty decent loot. I got some garbage herbs too, but that's expected. But I think it's cool that they give torstals. There's not too many things in the game that just give a straight up torstal like that. Torstal seeds maybe, but not really straight torstal. A few bosses do. Mostly looking for the Wyvern Cave, which, by the way, is the southern explanation point, I found out. I'm trying to navigate the swamp, but if you want to try and navigate the swamp, you're going to need an axe and a rake. Those little tar monsters there are pretty aggressive and kind of annoying. One of the JMods said in the last live stream that there's an item that will protect you from them and or make them easier to kill, but nobody knows what that item is yet, or at least if somebody does know, it's not public yet. But yeah, I just get lost in the swamp for a little bit. There's a new boss out here. I'm sure everyone knows about it. It's the one that killed a friend. I was so sad when that happened. I'm still sad. I don't know what he's going to do with his YouTube channel now. Well, I guess he's just going to do regular Iron Man mode. I thought about making a hardcore when it first came out, but I already invested so much time into this account. If I max this account and migrate to another account, I think it'll probably just be Deadman mode. Might even use the same account. I have stats for Deadman on my main, but this account would be a fresh account. I could do a whole new series with that. But after I max, though, I still want to go for like max gear and all items and things like that. I haven't even gotten a single corp kill yet. And the raids grind to get all items from raids, that's going to take like a year with how RNG is, you know. And I managed to kill one of these tar monsters just to see if they had anything interesting on their drop table. Took a lot of supplies to take it down too, but it just dropped a little bit of that new currency. Then I decided to go and look for the non-Slayer Wyvern Cave, and I took a guess and figured that it might be the southern explanation point, and sure enough, it was. So I'm like, awesome, new wyverns. So I decided to go over and hop around a little bit at the Ancient Wyverns, the strongest one. Saw somebody playing mage, so I decided to do the same. But not the best idea, it turns out. They don't hit with magic, they hit with this icy breath. And they don't really hit very hard at all, but if you want to pray anything, use protect from melee. And it was really camped there, so I decided to just go and kill some of the smaller ones for a little bit. Ended up hopping around quite a while. They didn't really clear up until quite a bit later. I'll skip ahead to a clip where I'm killing some of the ancient wyverns. And here I managed to get on. These have a lot of hit points, so they take a little bit of something to kill. I had lots of brews and whatnot, but you only really need shark, and I wouldn't range them. I'd use melee. I just was taking a guess at what sort of setup to go with and taking D-stone bolts so that I wouldn't get killed. Jumping ahead to the kill here, my drop was a mere 25 air runes. And I hopped around, and of all the wyverns that I was able to kill, a lot of their drops were pretty similar. 25 air runes, 25 water runes, 50 rune essence. In fact, their drop table was so horrid that they ended up buffing their drop table, which was kind of interesting. I kind of liked that they didn't have that good of a drop table, because that means less people would be killing them, and that would add a lot more value to the visage. As an Iron Man, I don't really care about the secondary drops anyway. It's more of the visage. And for the main accounts out there that aren't Iron Man, it would be in their favor to have the visage be more valuable by having these give a crappier drop table, because there'd be less people killing them, it'd be less crowded, and only really the people who care about camping them for the visage would be here. Because the secondary drops, I mean, sure, you might get 100k in inventory now or so, but I think it's cooler to have the visage be multiple hundreds of mils rather than multiple tens of mils. But hey, that's just me. Other people might have different opinions on that. And skipping ahead here, I did some more exploration of the island after that wyvern trip. Got a melee setup going on because this fossil island seems to be melee-scape, which is pretty nice. Very classic feel to the game, using melee for everything. I didn't get too much good from these animite crabs. I think they're mostly just for peers. Some seaweed drops, and they're pretty close to a bank. Might be an interesting way to gather seaweed over time, but I don't see myself using that method too much. I might test out the seaweed farming later though, because I did get a lot of seaweed spores from the new wyverns. Coming up with some more live commentary. Alright guys, Herb Quest here with something a little bit interesting. Bring my location up on the map. I'm here on Fossil Island, and I found this house, and I went inside it. You have to climb these stairs up here, and I found a mushroom over here, a teleportation one. I found one in the swamp too, but it won't let me go there. But this is the house on the hill. After you find it, it lets you enter and come here. I didn't get here by the swamp, by the way. I just came here on my own. But I found this trap door over here when you climb up the stairs, and it goes down to the second level. And there's these stone chests down here, and you need 100 numlight, the little currency down here, to unlock them. And I found this stone grid and 2 more chests, and it when I examine the stone grid, it says that there must be pieces missing. So this looks like it could be relevant to something unsolved. There's also plenty of piles of ancient books here, and I'm kind of disappointed that you can't read any of the books. None of the books are readable. They're just aesthetic. So no new lore for expansion on the audiobook series yet, it looks like, for Fossil Island. But I figured I'd share this while the island's hot. I don't know what to make of this room, but there's something in these 3 chests. And they take 100 numlight each. Maybe I'll do an update video on this and find out what's in them, or maybe one of you can. Wish me luck. And coming back to the voiceover, now that I've been on Fossil Island for quite a while and got a chance to grind out some wyverns and whatnot, I decided to use all my currency that I gathered here on unlocking those chests. It takes 100 per, and I found out that you get these scribbled notes from them. These are the pieces of lore, and I was mistaken. There is a book in there, and I now have that, and I will be doing an audiobook on that, and also from the scribbled notes. I feel like Fossil Island's a little more relevant than Zaya right now, and if I start on the Zaya lore, then I'm just going to have to grind it all out all at once, and Deadman mode's coming up in 10 days. I thought it was coming up in October, but here it's right around the corner, right next week pretty much. So I don't even know if I'll be able to get my battle staves ready in time. In fact, I know I probably won't be able to. I don't even have the essence to make the cosmic runes for it yet. So that's going to have to wait until after the tournament, which means that this seasonal I'm not going to be grinding very intensely. I'm just going to be getting rank, doing a PK trip, and calling it that after a week, week and a half in, depending on how the high scores are looking. It might be a popular season. I might have to grind out for rank, but I'm definitely going to get ranked for next tournament and all that. I love the changes that they're bringing to the new tournament with the 1v1 fights on the end, at the end with the islands during the final hour. I think that's going to be super epic. I'm going to love it. Back on the topic of wyverns, though, I went back to these later on at night after all the hecticness calmed down here, and I was able to get a spawn to camp without anybody PJing or any crashers around, and I was able to get quite a bit of loot from these, and I actually grinded them out for pretty much a tentacle and a half worth of kills. I killed some of the spitting wyverns and some of the taloned wyverns as well, but mostly I killed ancient wyverns, and I cashed in all my currency at the chest there to get the little lore pages, so stick around to see what kind of loot I got from that post time-lapse. And for now, here's some interesting music that I made accompanied by the time-lapse itself. Also, one more thing before I get into that. I'm very disappointed that the ancient wyverns don't drop cosmic runes nor essence. That means that I'll be grinding something else post Deadman mode in order to get my battle staves done. I was hoping I'd be grinding the new wyverns and I'd have a good chance at getting the new visage, but we'll see whether or not I get the shield in this loot video. Well, not really loot video, but time-lapse video. I do show the loot at the end, an estimation of the loot, because some of the drops I didn't really keep track of. But you'll be able to see me picking up these drops in the loot video. You can yell at me for what I missed in the comments below if you catch it. Hope you guys enjoy. This is roughly 15 hours of killing ancient wyverns, time-lapsed into Oh gee, we're already 25 minutes into the video. I think I'm gonna just go for a 5 to 7 minute time lapse. It'll be pretty quick, might be a little blurry going to the bank, but we'll see how it goes. Then, following my first run of wyverns, my first little grind, I did a price check and came up with roughly 3 mil worth of loot. It might have been a little bit more than that. I remember it dropped some used seeds and whatnot that I kind of lost track of. Then I deposited my fossils and found that I couldn't deposit this rare fossilized tusk that I got from one of the rare fossils. Still not quite sure what exactly to do with that yet. I'm guessing it's probably one of the things to add to the Varrock Museum. And then I decided to head on over to the ancient house now that I have some of this unique currency to deposit. And I found some of these notes, which I later found can be added to the new book. So I'll show you guys what that looks like with some live commentary. Alright, we're back with some live commentary. I just made a little bit of a discovery. I used one of my pages on the Fossil Island notebook that you get for completing the quest, and I found that the pages that you get from the chests in the house, I'll bring up the map and show it. The house, where is it? It's up this way actually. This one. There's little chests in here that you can unlock with Numulite, and they have these little pages in them. And I thought, well, that's quite a bit of bank space to be carrying 9 pages around. And then I found out you can just use them on the book and they go right in there. So that's going to make the audiobook easier. It's a lot like my notes in a way. And I have this ancient diary here that I can do an audiobook on as well. But for now, I've only got these 9 pages of lore. But they can all be used in this book to save your bank space. So it is worth going out to look for the lore, guys. Hey guys, HerbQuest here, coming in with the first unique drop, which is the Granite Boots. Pretty excited to get this, so I play with the aggro on that wyvern over there. But yeah, first unique. See you guys. Well, guys, it happened. I just got this. It looks really nice on the ground, and I picked it up right away. I've got the wyvern visage. I'm like in shock right now. I thought it'd be like another 1,000 bones I'd be stacking up in the bank because I was just thinking about how worth it the bank slot was for the bones, and then just that kill. There it is. Well, see you guys in the next clip where I'm crafting this thing. Alright, so just got the visage last inventory. Gonna clean up these fossils here, which is actually a mistake, as we'll see in a minute. Oh, the future holds better knowledge than the present always does. But funny thing is, if you remember last video when I made all those mine shields at the end, I didn't make a single extra elemental shield. So you need an elemental shield for the new visage. So I ended up having to craft one of those. And I told my clan about getting the visage, and my friend Aubrey Plaza came to watch me craft it. And I tried crafting it here at the Varrock anvil because it's a nice anvil. But unfortunately I got the message, perhaps some of the magical apparatus on Fossil Island can help you join these two items. So unfortunately you can't just craft this on any anvil. And I went over to the wiki to take a look at that to see what that said. And the information on it is not yet complete. So Aubrey and I took a random guess and figured it would be the strange machinery on the house on the hill. So I took the long way over to Fossil Island because I've yet to craft any ruby necklaces yet. For Iron Man, that's kind of a weird item to have because they didn't really do anything before, but I guess I should have expected it. It was in the dev blog and I could have stocked up on them beforehand, but I didn't, so oh well. I made it over to the house eventually though, and just simply used the wyvern visage on the strange device and it imbued it. I got 2,000 magic XP and 2,000 smithing XP. Then while Aubrey and I were talking about how crazy my RNG is because I've gotten 2 other visages and I have 2 dragonfire shields, the draconic visages that is. This is the only wyvern visage that I've gotten. And while discussing this crazy RNG, I figured out, well actually Aubrey figured out that you need fossils to charge this thing. You can't charge it with the wyvern breath like I thought. It's actually charged with fossils. I'm not sure whether they need to be clean fossils or not now that I reconsider, because a second ago I said I messed up because I cleaned all the fossils, but it might require clean fossils. I don't know. I'll have to update you guys on that in the next video when I find out myself. But thank you guys for watching. If you've made it this far, comment Visi Hype down below so I know who all follows this far. I'll see you next time, guys, with some more progress. Peace. Oh, and I almost forgot, while I was rendering that time lapse and speeding it up, I snapshotted some of my loots of every inventory on the ancient wyverns and some on the smaller wyverns. So in case that original loot video wasn't that accurate, here are some of the loots by inventory of the ancient wyverns and their drops. Some of the loots are mixed though because I did kill the lower tier wyverns as my inventory dwindled down to just shark. There's that granite boot drop. And it was only a couple inventories later that I got the ancient one. I'll have to test out how wyverns are with the shield, although it is a magic shield, so it might be a while for that. Peace, guys.